Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you see this video. I basically wanted to get right through this and let's do it. The decline and fall of Elon Musk and the unheeded warnings of QA expert DARYL GUBERMAN. In an era defined by digital disruption and collapsing institutional trust, two figures emerged from wildly different worlds. Elon Musk, the billionaire tech visionary turned Washington insider, and DARYL GUBERMAN, a relentless quality assurance expert, warning of a deeper decay beneath America's infrastructure, its standard certifications, and global integrity. While Musk grabbed headlines with his ambition to slash trillions from the federal budget and overhaul the bureaucracy through a DOGE initiative, GUBERMAN quietly sent explosive documentation to both Musk and President Donald Trump in early 2025, just days into Trump's second term, laying bare the systematic rot in American quality background. Here is the cover of the booklet I sent them, and you can see the date of January 21st, 2025. Okay? We received back the green card request, first from the White House. Donald Trump, as you can see, it wasn't signed off there. Isn't that a tender moment? With the Elon Musk, he's doing Dodge, trying to clean up the government. But ladies and gentlemen, fellow business associates, take a look at the date on there, April 2nd, 2019. And this was mailed to him way before that, in 2025. And yet, as Musk fell from political grace and bureaucratic clashes and failed reforms, GUBERMAN's warnings remain largely unheeded despite their implications touching everything from national security to pandemic prevention. Part 1, the rise and fall of Musk's government crusade. According to a recent expose in The Atlantic, Musk's leadership of the Department of Government Efficiencies initially captivated conservatives, libertarians, and reformers, tasked with a $2 trillion savings mission and backed by direct presidential authority. Musk began consolidating oversight across federal departments. But his abrasive, often chaotic management style, centralizing IRS functions, bypassing Senate confirmations, demanding backdoor access to massive databases, created fierce opposition inside and outside the administration. By mid-2025, his influence had eroded. Federal officials began reasserting control, and much of his vision unraveled. For many, it was a predictable fall. For others, it exposed a graver reality. Even the richest man alive could not root out the bureaucratic cancer hollowing America from the inside. Part 2, GUBERMAN's early warning, a rot deeper than budget lines. QA expert DARYL GUBERMAN, meanwhile, had identified the cancer long before Musk entered the federal fray. As early as 2012, GUBERMAN was exposing how America's quality assurance system, including aerospace, medical, and national defense certifications, was being outsourced and influenced by foreign adversaries, particularly the Chinese Communist Party. His booklet, his 2025 booklets to Trump and Musk, detailed how ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, and ANAB, the American National Accrediting Board, the top U.S. certifiers, co-founded international bodies like the International Accreditation Forum, incorporated in Delaware, and ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. These organizations have national and international accreditation bodies and are international equivalents to ANSI and ANAB. How from 2015 to 21, the IAF was chaired by a Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who also led the China National Accreditation Services body in Beijing. He has been involved with our quality since 1994. How the CNAS and the IAF certified critical labs like the Wuhan Institute of Virology, even after internal WIV complaints about lack of trained technicians, both 6 months prior to the certification and 6 months after the certification. Worse, U.S. federal agencies, including the FDA, FBI, NIST, which is part of the Department of Commerce, DOJ, and DHS, remain members and some customers of ANSI-ANAB throughout Zhao Jinwu's reign. This raised profound national security questions, particularly under China National Intelligence Law, Article Number 7, which mandates citizens and entities to assist in state intelligence activities for China. Part 3, the Wuhan Flashpoint, ignored red flags. In 2017, under the IF and the China National Accreditation Oversight, the Wuhan lab was certified despite reports 6 months prior to that it lacked trained technicians, highly trained technicians. Shockingly, months after certification, WIV scientists were still complaining about personnel shortfalls. Pamela Sale, the vice president of laboratory accreditation for ANSI-ANAP, later admitted under deposition in 2017, one of the issues that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic labs around the country have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. This isn't a bureaucratic loophole. It's national security disaster. The CDC's own 2019 lab training manual, the only one referencing China, listed Wuhan and made one thing crystal clear. The first line of defense in a well-run laboratory is highly trained technicians. The very line Wuhan lacked, and yet it was accredited by international bodies underwritten by ANSI-ANAP, who by law and structure bear responsibility to product and system failure. They are underwriters. Part 4, warnings ignored. The Guberman paradox. While Musk 2025 was touting AI data mapping and zero-based budgeting, Guberman 2012 was sounding alarms on accreditation capture, dual allegiances, and deep-rooted conflicts of interest in the QA world, some of which enabled foreign-controlled accreditation body to validate U.S. systems and institutions. Press releases such as Elon Musk and the Road to Wigan Pier invoked George Orwell's 1937 essay about the elite's detachment from the working class struggle. In Guberman's version, it symbolized Musk's failure to see that data optimization alone cannot correct a deeply compromised standards ecosystem. The tragedy, Guberman's message was buried under the spectacle of Musk's fall, even though his foresight may have provided the very structural insight Musk needed to succeed. Conclusion, the real emergency isn't Elon Musk's fall, it is a system Guberman tried to save. The media focus on Elon Musk's fall from grace, his failures in Washington, and his feuds with political leaders distracts from a far more pressing issue: the complete entanglement of America's certification bodies with foreign-controlled, politically motivated accreditation systems. DARYL GUBERMAN, yes, I understand that this wasn't about budget lines or data logs. It was about invisible pipelines of power buried under ISO clauses, International Organization of Standard clauses, and government contracts, leaking our sovereignty inch by inch to globalist entities and adversarial states. Elon Musk may have fallen trying to save a broken system, but DARYL GUBERMAN tried to warn us all about why it broke in place 2012 to present. And still, almost no one listens. Why? Because almost 70 federal agencies, many corporations like Lockheed, Boeing, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, all sit as members, and some even customers like federal agencies. DHS, DOJ, NIST, and the Department of Commerce and FDA sit on this. So that is the problem. Elon Musk and the Road to Wigan Pier. He didn't understand that poor woman who is single and has a baby has to deal with this federal bureaucracy. Federal bureaucracy, it's unbelievable. He never conceived this. Everything was AI, and everything was very anal, may I say this. On top of that, I put out a thing on X concerning David Calhoun, a former CEO of Boeing. And Elon wrote me it must have been him, because I called his number, and this is what he left me.
Hey, Daryl, don't you know how to seek permission before you make calls? You should learn to obey people's privacy. I do.
He didn't write it to me. He said it to me, okay? I'm going to leave it here. 203-556-1493. Leave your messages and comments below. I thank you.